our conference room available as a small contribution, so to speak, to the very interesting work that the association European border regions is doing. Mr. Guillermo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claeye. We are also very proud that we had the opportunity to organize this warm-up forum for our activities in course here in Moscow. People in the AEBR was very excited to have this, and it's a pleasure to be in the delegation of the European Union. We think that it has an enormous meaning for us. So I'd like to thank you and all your team for all the support we have received in this month to organize this. I would like also to thank you for making the effort to come here. For some of you, I know it was not easy, even in some cases, to explain in your regions that you have to travel outside the European Union. It's not easy at all, but I think that you all are very much aware that the scope of the AEBR goes beyond the European Union borders. We have a very, very active organizations outside, even not bordering the European Union, as it is the case of the Euro regions between Russia and Ukraine. Even we have also our colleagues from the Euro-Caucasus, the brand new Euro region between Armenia and Georgia. So, well, it was the time to do something like that in Russia. This is from my side, and I think that now we will go to the point. This is, we have chosen the topic border policies and cross-border cooperation. We are outside the Schengen area. Most of us, we are living within Schengen, so we don't know any more about what the border control is. But outside the Schengen area, things are different, and there are a lot of obstacles for our normal activity, for cross-border cooperation. But of course, there is also a need by the national governments to control their borders. You can imagine in the case of the Russian Federation, such a long amount of border with so many countries in which many things happen. This is also the case in the external borders of the EU. I'm coming from Spain. We have some problems in the south of Spain, and this is not a Spanish problem, it's a European problem. This is the same case in Finland, Poland, etc. So it is the time to try to have a dialogue with the national authorities about how to combine a good and effective border control policy with, at the same time, opening channels for cross-border cooperation. It's not easy. We have, all of us, we know what is the problem of visa for entrepreneurs trying to cross the border every day. This is a big problem. All of us, we know how difficult it is to get acquainted with a service which is on the other side of the border if you have to make a line of several hours, etc. And many other problems. That's why we have invited an expert on the topic in the Committee of the Regions, but also an expert to help the AEBR in many issues, which is our colleague Christian Soda, who will tell us the view from the point of view of the Committee of the Regions, but even his own opinion as an expert. We have also invited Rebecca Steinman. We have developed a cooperation with the Retis Institute in the University of Rio de Janeiro, because they have made the most interesting studies on the border policies and cross-border cooperation in Brazil, where also this dialectic between border control and cross-border cooperation is on tape. We are very happy also to have with us Mr. AEBR Moscow, who is representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, and also has been in touch with the AEBR in the last times. Actually, he was visiting us in Dundalk last year. It was a pleasure for us to have you there. And of course, we have invited the European Union delegation. That's why Mr. Claeye is here, and also will address us with the point of view of the European Union here in the heart of Russia. So I think that now is the time for me to stop speaking, and I will give the floor to Mr. Claeye.
Thank you very much. I will just make a few points, perhaps informing about a couple of things that are happening. And of course, yes, Russia for us is clearly our most important neighbor, our biggest neighbor, and therefore part of the work that the EU delegation is doing is obviously cooperating with Russia on the borders. We have recently concluded what we call a partnership for modernization with Russia, at the request of Russia. And in the meantime, not only the EU has signed such a partnership, but in the meantime, 17 member states of the European Union have also signed a partnership for modernization. each in its own right, and 2 more will be doing that in the coming weeks. So we are attaching quite a bit of importance on the fact that Russia is a very important neighbor, the most important neighbor, and we are obviously quite interested to cooperate with Russia in modernizing or helping to modernize the country in many different respects. There is obviously transfer of technology, there's obviously quite a bit of investment going on, being done by European companies in Russia in all sorts of sectors. Car assembly is quite a clear case, for example. But of course, modernization of Russia must also mean modernization of society. And if you look at the joint declaration of the Partnership for Modernization that was adopted at the June EU summit by the President of Russia and the President of the EU, you will see that the partnership is not just about technology transfer. It's also about modernizing society. It's also about working together to establish more and better people-to-people contacts. It's also about cultural cooperation, and it's also about cross-border cooperation, because an important role needs to be played by the border regions on both sides, bringing people together. This is something that has still some way to go, and for some of you, of course, you are aware that we have this quite big cross-border cooperation program going on since last year, with funding from the side of the European Commission for 350 million euro. And quite interestingly enough, I think we should like to emphasize that, with grant funding also from Russia for 110 million euro. It's not as if we are simply funding everything ourselves. We have now a very clear policy agreed from both sides that wherever possible, and of course it has to be looked at on a case-by-case basis, but wherever possible, Russia would like to co-finance as equal partners with the EU whenever we have projects. So, a good example is cross-border cooperation with the amounts of grant funding that I have mentioned. Another very interesting case that is mainly focused also on border regions is the Northern Dimension Environmental Fund that was set up some time ago, and where so far the European Commission has provided 44 million euro of grants, and Russia has provided 60 million euro of grants. So it shows that, that there is a keen interest on both sides to cooperate together, be it under the heading Partnership for Modernization, be it under the heading cross-border cooperation. So this is a very, as I said, it's not only about technology transfer, a lot of it is investment in environmental projects. The Northern Dimension Environmental Fund has been set up for that purpose. The main objective is, of course, to make these investments in the northwest of Russia in order to limit the pollution of the Baltic Sea. And it's not just about environment, but it's also the cleaning up of nuclear waste. So the Northern Dimension Environmental Fund has 2 windows, one on environment projects and one on nuclear waste. So that's and that is mainly the northwest of Russia, which obviously is an extremely important border area for our member states, in particular for the Scandinavian countries. So we have quite a lot of ongoing cooperation programs with Russia. I am not going to give you each and every detail on them, because that will become a bit boring after some time. And secondly, I invite you to have a look at the website of the EU delegation. We have an ongoing cooperation program in close consultation with the government of Russia, in particular with the Ministry of Economic Development, because they are the coordinators on the side of the government as far as the Partnership for Modernization is concerned. And I'd like to simply finish by saying, first of all, that we have a number, every year we do a number of calls for proposals. So for those of you who are interested, be it as non-state actors, or as local authorities, or as regional governments, or as non-governmental organizations, I would invite you to have a look at the website of the delegation to see what are the ongoing calls. We have just launched one called Non-State Actors in Development. We have just finished one called Baltic Sea Region. So there are opportunities for funding for those of you who wish to work together on both sides of the border. So therefore I would invite you to see what the possibilities are. And last but not least, I'd like to say that for us, the regional dimension of our work will continue to be an important aspect in the future work that we are going to do. So that's one of the reasons why we were quite interested to see you with us here today, and this gives us the opportunity to speak to you and your partners to explain a little bit, well, one aspect of what we are doing, because of course I could also be talking about WTO and about this and about that, but I think we are here together today, and I suppose so also in the coming days, to see how we can work together across the border, the big border, EU. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I think